Hello everyone. Let's start with a beautiful quotation. No one can know your strength and weakness better than you. This class we will deal with phases of plant growth. So we will have the introduction, characteristics of plant growth, phases of plant growth, growth curve. Now what is growth? Growth is a permanent and irreversible process of increase in size, shape, volume and dry weight. Now growth is taking place inside the body when the cell divides and the number of cells increases. There will be enlargement. So that is what growth. This is a permanent and irreversible. You cannot get back the first cell, right? So growth is a quantitative process. When growth happens, the new cells later on differentiates to perform certain functions. That is what the development is. So development is a qualitative phenomenon. Okay, and every living organisms grow and develop. That is what growth and development. Now what is the characteristics of plant growth? Plant growth is an intrinsic or innate process. I told you, growth happens inside the body where the cell division occurs, cell enlargement occurs and the cell differentiation occurs. These three processes continuously going on. Now cell division means a cell divides into two equal halves. So like that, these cells divide, they get enlarged. That means they become big, store more amount of nutrients and perform certain function. That is the last phase, that is differentiation. So this type of growth is permanent and irreversible. Now in some parts like stem, root, branches, you will see indefinite growth. That means they grow towards a particular length. We cannot say that it will go to a particular centimeter, right? Compared to other parts like leaves, flowers and fruits, where we can see a particular size of a fruit. Apple, you cannot say it will grow like a jackfruit. Okay, so these parts like leaves, flowers and fruits have a definite growth. Now how this growth happens, how they divide, there is a special part or region in the plant called meristems, which are nothing but the dividing cells. Let's see what it is. Meristematic cells, they are the dividing cells which have the capacity to divide and form new cells. So where it is present? It is present in the root apex, shoot apex, cambium in vascular bundles of dicots. Root apex, apex means tip. So at the tip of root, at the tip of shoot, that means stem tip, and cambium, it is present in between the xylem and phloem of dicots. Okay. Now what is the specialty of meristematic cells? They are isodiametric in shape. That means they are of equal size. They have thin walls. Thin wall, if they have thick wall, the division will be not very easy, right? They have a prominent nucleus. Nucleus controls all the activity of the cell. They have a dense cytoplasm having a large amount of nutrients, right? So this is about meristematic cells. Now where it is present? See the diagram. Shoot apical meristem. I told you at the stem tip. This is what shoot apex. Even here in between the leaf, axillary bud, you can see. These are the shoot apical part where the length of the plant grows. Even at the bottom you can see root apical meristem, root apex. So at the tip also meristems are the highly dividing cells which will enable the root to grow and get through the soil to get the water and nutrients, right? Now another meristem is there, that is lateral meristem, which is present on the sides of the stem. The examples are cambium and cork cambium, which is formed on the secondary thickening, right? This meristem which is present on the sides, which will divide and the cells are added to the existing cells, which will increase the thickness, width of the plant. We will see another diagram. You can see clearly the apical meristems, lateral meristem and the intercalary meristem. Intercalary meristem is a meristem which is present at the base of leaves or in between the nodal region, right? Node is where the these leaves branches are arising, right? So in between the nodes, the intercalary meristem is present. This intercalary meristem and the apical meristem is meant for increase in the length. So one thing I'll tell you, these things, how naturally the meristems are beautifully made, right? This intercalary meristem, first it was attached to the apical meristem. Later, as the apical meristem grows, the intercalary gets detached. Okay, so again the length is growing on. Apical meristem as well as the intercalary meristem both will help in the high length development. Okay, lateral meristem will enable the thickness, width or girth of the plant. So that is what the basis of primary and secondary growth. As I told you, primary growth means where the length of plant increases. How I told you, apical meristem and intercalary meristem is what resulting in the length of the plant. So secondary growth happens because of the vascular cambium or core cambium. I told you it is example of lateral meristem. So this will increase the girth, thickness, width of the plant. That means the dry weight increases. Now, what are the phases of growth? There are 3 phases: formative phase, elongation phase, maturation phase. We will see what it is. First one is formative phase. That means phase of cell division. As the name includes formation of new cells, it is the first phase of growth. Any plant grow, any cell grows. First is formative phase. That means the meristematic cells undergo mitotic division to form new cells. Mitosis means formation of 2 cells from one parent cell having equal number of chromosomes. These new cells are thin-walled, have a prominent nucleus, dense cytoplasms, and vacuoles are absent. This cell division occurs by 2 processes you have studied in the lower classes. One, karyokinesis, the first process, then cytokinesis. That means karyo means nucleus, the division of nucleus takes place first, then continuously or consequently the cytokinesis, that means cell divides. Now elongation phase, that is the second phase, phase of cell enlargement. Phase of cell enlargement, this is the dominant phase where the cell absorbs most of the or more water and becomes turgid because of the formation of large quantity of solutes, and because of that endosmosis happens. That means more amount of water get inside the cell, it becomes turgid, so the cell enlarges and there will be appearance of vacuole at the center. See how beautifully automatically the cells are doing this process without any outer control. See, very beautiful. Now the third last stage is maturation phase. That means phase of cell maturation. Here the cell undergoes maturation and differentiation. In the first slide itself I told you cell division, cell enlargement and cell differentiation. This stage where the cell properly divided and now they are settling to become a group to perform a certain function. Various tissues like parenchyma, sclerenchyma, xylem, phloem get developed. That means these group of cells are now settled to perform certain function. For example, just I am telling you examples like xylem. It is meant for taking the water from the root to different parts of the plant. Phloem, taking the food from the leaf to different parts of the plant. It's example only, right? Now, structurally, physiologically, differentiation enables the cells to perform particular functions. It is what the maturation phase, where the cell which initially divided now matured to perform a particular function needed for the plant. Now, you can see the diagram where formative phase, that means the preparatory phase, then elongation. So first is the formative cell divided, then enlarged, elongated, then the maturation phase where each organ or each group of cells perform certain functions. Now, very important topic for all the biology students, growth curve. I'll tell you, growth in a cell, organ or entire plant does not occur at a uniform rate during the growth period. It becomes slow, high, like that, right? This rate of growth is known as efficiency index. Efficiency index or rate of growth can be measured by the increase in size or area of an organ of the plant like leaf, flower and fruit in an unit area. This growth can be plotted against the time. So when we are plotting that, we can get a S-shaped curve, that is sigmoid curve in the case of plant growth. This sigmoid curve has three stages: lag phase, exponential phase otherwise log phase, stationary phase or senescence phase. We will see one by one. Lag phase. This is the initial growth phase where the growth rate is very slow. In this stage, the cells are going to prepare for the high growth phase. It is a preparatory phase where the changes in the cells are going on. They are taking more nutrients. So even small growth requires large time. So that is why it is the lag phase. It is lagging behind. Then comes a log phase, which is otherwise known as exponential phase, where rapid growth is going on because the rate of growth is more as they are utilizing more and more nutrients, which is corresponding to the phases of growth like cell elongation, cell enlargement. Okay, that is why this log phase is dominant phase where the growth rate is maximum. Then comes the stationary phase, stationary, steady. Okay, so this phase where the plant growth now very slowly, steadily, they relax, they will go, right? So growth is slow because of the limitation of nutrients. Already nutrients are utilized in the log phase, so here the nutrients are less, so it will be slow. Here what happens, speciality, the cells, the group of cells get differentiated to perform the functions. So there will be no addition of cells. The formed cells now starts to do particular function. So growth rate will be very steady. We will have the diagram. See how the growth curve is, that is sigmoid curve. You can see the lag phase where the graph is very slow rate, right? Then suddenly in the log phase, the growth, which is the dominant phase, the growth is maximum. So here nutrients are absorbed, the cells are dividing, they are enlarging, they are elongating. Then they get matured in the stationary phase, which is the senescence phase. Then after that this maturity phase, then after that the last stage is the death phase, right? So lag phase, log or exponential phase, stationary phase. I hope you understood. Thank you for watching. So we will meet again with a beautiful topic. Have a nice day.